My schedule absolutely sucks. It's already been a week of school and I already hate the schedule. And so as I was thinking about how much the schedule sucks, my fried YouTube brain took the route it normally does and said, hey, let's make some content out of this. So today, you get the privilege of getting to hear me complain about my schedule. Enjoy. First period, I have AP Spanish. And that actually is a good thing. For those of you that don't know, I was actually born in Mexico and didn't move here until I was 10, so I speak really good Spanish. I actually took this class last year and it was like pretty easy, partly because I already know the language and partly because the teacher is just like really chill and just like, there would be a couple class periods where she would just be grading work and she would just let us like do whatever. And I actually took the AP test and I got a 5, and for those of you who aren't familiar, that is the highest score there is. Thank you for your applause. Thank you. Oh, you guys are too kind. But I am going to be transferring out of that class because there's some like dual credit like psychology class that I'm going to try to transfer into. So maybe in a couple months I'll talk about that in some video. Then second period I have geometry, which isn't the best but also isn't the worst. I'm still usually a little like groggy, you know, like I'm not fully awake. There's one day specifically where I like really had trouble locking in, and I hope that that's not like an issue, but we'll see. And then third period, I have lunch. You heard me right, lunch, like when you eat. And this period starts at 9:30. If you guys have seen my previous video on the breakfast tier list, then you guys might recall a time that I was talking about cereal. And I was talking about like, oh, I can't eat cereal in the mornings because I'll be hungry by second period. You know why I said second period instead of third? Because now that I have third period lunch, that joke wouldn't even work. Nobody in the audience would know, but it still wouldn't work, and it's so stupid that I have lunch third period. I start lunch at 9:30. I know I've already said this, but I'm still mad about it. The good part is that I have a good handful of friends in my lunch period. There's only 2 people in school that I'm like really close with, and I do have one of them in my lunch, so that is good because I'm not trying to be like a High School Musical kid at lunch having no friends and being like, it's the first day of school and I don't know who to sit with in lunch. This is a pretty big decision. This could define my entire high school experience. Jeepers. And I'm always starving by the end of the day. So what I've been doing now is I've just like been bringing snacks from home. Because you know, I'm a problem solver. I'm a big thinker. Yeah. Then fourth period we have engineering. I like that class because basically anybody who I'm like even sort of friends with is in that class. But last year it was my hardest class and the teacher's just like really strict, and I can see it becoming even more stressful now that I'm like 1 grade higher. Then we got fifth period and it is world studies, and the teacher is a crazy yapper. Last year there was some meeting with her on this trip that was gonna happen in the summer, and she spent so much time talking like about herself. It would have at least made sense if she was like talking a lot about Europe and about that, but no, she was just yapping about like her own life, her own stuff, about like her doctorate or whatever. Seeing as it's only been 1 week, we haven't actually got into any of like the actual lessons, but I'm very interested to see how those go, because this teacher, she just like goes off on like tangents. I don't know, it could be exciting. Next, we have sixth period. Sixth period, I have AP seminar. I can see that class being kind of hard. They said that there's gonna be like a decent amount of homework assigned, which is never great. My thought is the more homework I have, the less time at home I have to work on YouTube. So that is always terrible whenever I have homework. And there's also gonna be like a lot of writing, but apart from that, like it seems like it'd be a pretty fun class. Next, we have seventh period, which is gym. Honestly, I prefer having gym as late in the day as possible because I don't want to have gym third period and have another 5 periods in the day where I'm sitting in class all sweaty. Now sadly, I don't have the same gym teacher as last year. I really liked him. I wouldn't have had him anyways, but he still moved to a different school, which was so sad. Everybody is like in mourning for Mr. B. He's not dead. He's just at a different school. But this gym teacher also seems pretty nice. But the biggest character in that class is one of the assistant teachers, and I'm gonna call him Big Ben. And Big Ben loves to shout. It was the first day of school. The main gym teacher's saying like, hey, I'm me. And this is the other guy that's gonna be teaching class with us. And there's also Big Ben. And then from the back of the gym, we just hear him go, yeah! Then it was, I think, the third day. For the warm-up, we just like walked around the gym in circles for 10 minutes. And he wasn't singing the songs the whole time, but sometimes he would like hop in for a couple bars and start singing at the top of his lungs. And then there's me and this friend that I have for gym, and we were like both walking together the whole time. And whenever he would start shouting, we would just like side-eye each other. Dude, he's a funny character. And he also has this habit of like interrupting the main gym teacher while he's talking to like shout something or whatever. I don't even know. I'm gonna have so many interesting stories of him by the end of the year. I'm so glad he's in my class. And then finally we got to 8th period. It's the end of the day. I'm excited to go home. And we got chemistry. Now, if you told me, oh hey, you got chemistry, I would be like, alright, I'm not really like excited for chemistry. I'm not really like devastated by the news. But there are two main reasons as to why I really like 8th period chemistry. First of all, my two close friends that I talked about in the beginning, they're both in that class. It's one of the few classes I have with them, so obviously it's gonna be fun. And also, like, the teacher seems like a really good teacher, and they seem like they're a lot more about like practical learning than just reading off a textbook. In the first couple of days, we had these different stations that we would rotate from. In one of them, there was a Bunsen burner, and there was a real life flint and steel. It was cool. I've been playing Minecraft for so many years, and I was like, as I was like using the flint and steel, I was just thinking of like a Minecraft actual like flint and steel. I'm cooked. Another one was this cool thing where you would like just put a bunch of things in a beaker, you would swish it around, the water would turn blue, and then you would leave it still, and then the water would go clear again. And then if you swished it, the water would go blue again, and you let it still and it would go clear again, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it seems like it's gonna be a fun class. And then after school, I joined the cross-country team again, so I have practices. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not excited about that. I would rather not be doing it, but it is what it is. It'll look good on college applications. And then, finally, I get to go home. So yeah, my schedule, not quite my favorite. Maybe, perchance, I'll make another video a couple months into the school year, kind of being like, is my schedule actually that bad? And if you have any terrible schedules that like you or like your friends have, leave them in the comments. I want to know, have something to like base myself off of, you know? Is it really that bad? And as always, like the video. I switched it up on you, you know? I usually say subscribe, but this time I said like the video, you know? Trying to subvert the expectations, you know? Keep you on your toes.